Jung Hoo Lee has arrived in San Francisco, and it is clear that this is a player who has the potential to change the future of the San Francisco Giants. Welcome into another edition of the Kerry Crowley Show, talking all things Giants baseball a day after the Giants held a landmark press conference to announce the most significant signing of the Farhan Zaidi era to date. It's an era that began back in November of 2018 when the Giants fired Bobby Evans as their general manager, sought a, quote, next-gen president of baseball operations, and found him in Farhan Zaidi, who came up from the Los Angeles Dodgers to San Francisco. And at his introductory press conference, he said that no move was too small to not be worth a certain level of detail or attention. And he has proved that by completely changing the back end of the Giants roster through series of waiver claims, through minor league free agents. He has changed the floor of the Giants franchise. But what is imperative this offseason, after the second consecutive disappointing season in which the Giants missed the playoffs, it is abundantly clear that the Giants need to improve the top part of their roster. They need to raise their ceiling, they need star power, and they started that quest by signing Jung Hoo Lee to the 6-year, $113 million deal. According to Andrew Baggerly of The Athletic, it looks like an all-in investment of something like $132 million if Jung Hoo Lee does indeed not opt out after that fourth season opt-out clause in his contract and stays with the organization in those fifth and sixth seasons. So let's get right into it. To me, this is clearly the most significant contract of the Farhan Zaidi era for a few reasons. One, it shows that he is willing to go against the grain and that someone was willing to accept a 9-figure offer from the San Francisco Giants. They tried this last offseason with their pursuit of Aaron Judge that failed, their pursuit of Carlos Correa that fell through due to the medical issue. They wanted stars, they didn't bring them in, and in 2023, the Giants paid the price. It was a bad baseball team, it was a boring baseball team during the second half of the season, and it's on Zaidi and the rest of the front office to make sure that the product is far more compelling in 2024. And fortunately for the San Francisco Giants, at the introductory press conference, Jung Hoo Lee showed off all the qualities that you would want in a player who immediately becomes a pillar for your franchise. I love the moment where he put on the Giants jersey, went down to the microphone and asked the question, handsome. I love the introduction that he gave. He didn't need to do this, speaks Korean, but he spoke in English, talking about what it meant to sign with the San Francisco Giants, a franchise that excited him, and then caps it off by saying, "Go Giants." There's some tremendous social media content that the Giants social media team put out with behind-the-scenes footage of Jung Hoo Lee, and it is clear to me that not only was he beloved in Korea, was he an icon in the KBO, where fans of the Kiwoom Heroes really came to love watching his style of play, but I believe that that love and that endearing quality that he brought to the game of baseball over in Korea, it can translate to the United States, and I'm of the belief that those 51 jerseys, those will be selling very frequently this offseason and into the 2024 season, because Giants fans have been starved for a player like this, a young talent who's exciting, who brings different elements to the game of baseball. And Jung Hoo Lee, a contact hitter, someone who gets on base, someone who really doesn't strike out, really had more walks than strikeouts in every season that he played in the KBO. He brings qualities that the Giants, at least over the last 2 seasons, were simply lacking. It's qualities that worked for the organization in 2010, 2012, and 2014, putting the ball in play, driving in runs at timely moments, and allowing the pitching staff to do the bulk of the work. And I've said it before, I'll say it a million times, the Giants need to continue adding this offseason with pitching. But not only is this the most significant signing of the Farhan Zaidi era because of the contract that they gave Jung Hoo Lee, which is the richest free agent contract the Giants have ever given to a position player. Remember, Buster Posey's a long extension with the San Francisco Giants that I think was $158 million that he signed back headed into the 2013 season. That wasn't a free agent deal. That's the richest deal ever given to a position player, but that was an extension that he signed. So Jung Hoo Lee doesn't eclipse Johnny Cueto or Barry Zito, but the all-in money that they have with the posting fee that the Giants will have to give Lee's team over in Korea, yes, that is part of the equation. So nonetheless, a massive financial commitment for an unknown player, a player who brings some risks to the major leagues because he hasn't faced the same type of velocity, the same caliber of pitching over in South Korea that he has faced that he will face in the United States. But the Giants had seen a small sample size in the World Baseball Classic. They'd seen a small sample size in international competition, and they believe they're buying into those contact skills. So another thing that I really like about this moment for the San Francisco Giants is after years of missing out on big ticket free agents and after years of sometimes sitting out the big ticket free agent market like they did after the 2021 season when they won 107 games, this is a declaration of intent to win. You don't take risks like this if you're a middling franchise. If you're planning on having a top 10 draft pick, you're signing Jung Hoo Lee because you're looking to close that existing and massive gap with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're looking to find a way to catch up from a talent standpoint with the San Diego Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks, and you're filling a huge gap in the center of your outfield. The Giants, had a number of players who might be able to fill, and Luis Matos and Wade Meckler. You could put Mike Yastrzemski and Austin Slater out there, but with the signing of Jung Hoo Lee, it solidifies that Lee will be in center field on just about an everyday basis. He will be at the top of the Giants batting order under Bob Melvin, whether they're facing right or left-handed pitching. And this is a declaration of intent that if you want to win, it starts with building a foundation, and a foundation of core players. Jung Hoo Lee immediately becomes a part of the San Francisco Giants core. Really interesting quote from his agent, Scott Boras, to John Shea of the San Francisco Chronicle. I think that this was, and this ties into another point about why this signing was so significant. But, San Francisco, the Giants, the entire city, the entire Bay Area took a hit this week from a public relations standpoint. Right or wrong, the hit was clear that people were happy to jump on and pile on the city of San Francisco and why free agents shouldn't want to sign in the Bay Area, shouldn't want to come to the city, why it's not safe, whatever. Those comments were made by people from the outside. I think that a lot of people took Buster Posey's comments that he gave to Andrew Baggerly of The Athletic in a really great piece of journalism. I think a lot of people took those comments out of context because Posey was talking about perception of the city. He was talking about what he's heard from free agents in discussions that he's had. But I think that Scott Boras, said a really important point in a conversation with John Shea that made it into the San Francisco Chronicle, and that is, look, the problems of San Francisco are not independent to San Francisco. LA, San Diego, these are both cities with homeless issues. These are both cities with drug issues, and players still want to play there. At the end of the day, players want to know if an organization is serious about winning. Players want to know if a franchise is committed to putting the best possible team on the field. And for the last, 4 or 5 seasons, even during the 107-win season, when the Giants bucked the odds and, had an incredible run, I don't know that the Giants were as committed every single day to putting the best possible team on the field that they really could. I think that you would look at their free agency moves, you would look at their moves in the trade market, especially in the off seasons following 2019, 2020, 2021, and say, are they doing everything in their power to put together a team that can challenge the Dodgers this season? And I think for the most part, many of us would say no. I think that there are a number of moves the Giants could have made. Say, went in Farhan Zaidi's first offseason, signing Bryce Harper to a 13-year, $360 or $375 million deal, as opposed to the contract that he signed with the Philadelphia Phillies, bringing back Kevin Gausman when he wanted to stay in San Francisco after the great 2020 season that he had. Instead of, bringing back a few other pitchers like DeSclafani and Wood and then go signing Rodon, the move would have been to extend Kevin Gausman and keep him in San Francisco. And so there's a number of different free agents, a number of different trade situations that you can point to where you can say, I don't know that the Giants were all in on that moment. And I think that really frustrated fans. I think that that's why during the 2022-2023 seasons, you haven't seen Oracle Park fill up as much because fans have felt less engaged, thinking that the front office and ownership maybe isn't as committed to winning as it once was, maybe isn't as committed to spending on stars as it once was. And Jung Hoo Lee doesn't change all of that overnight, but it is a declaration of intent. It is a really important piece of the puzzle, and it's essentially the Giants saying, okay, we're past this moment. We're past our hesitation. It's time to take risks. It's time to gamble. It's time to go all out. And the more you find players like Jung Hoo Lee who are willing to take your money, your 9-figure contracts, the more you're willing to part with prospects and potential trade packages for star players, the more fans are going to re-engage with this franchise, the more they're going to show up at Oracle Park, and the more they're going to be proud of the baseball team but the organization they've rooted for their whole life is putting on the field, because I think a sense of pride may have been lost in the teams the Giants fielded in 2022, 2023. I don't think that that sense was lost with the signing of Jung Hoo Lee. I think that people really followed along with his press conference. I saw a bunch of positive support for him on social media, the way that he talked about putting on his jersey with the handsome comment, the way that he made jokes. And I just think that this is a charismatic player who clearly resonated over in South Korea with the Kiwoom Heroes, and someone who I think has the potential to resonate with fans in the United States as an everyday player. Look, you can be a fan of Logan Webb, but you can only watch him pitch every fifth day. You can be a fan of Camilo Doval and know that he's going to appear in fewer of half of the Giants' games over the course of the 2024 season. If you're a fan of Jung Hoo Lee, you can go buy his jersey, and chances are he will be in the lineup, playing center field, and batting leadoff for the Giants that night. That means something. That means something at a deeper level. It's beyond analytics. It's beyond all the stats and numbers of why we watch and care about baseball. Is there a player that gets you excited every day about something that you're going to see on the diamond? And sure, Logan Webb and Camilo Doval, when they're on the mound, they are thrilling to watch for Giants fans. It's an awesome experience. But for Logan, it's every fifth day. And for Camilo, it's when the Giants have a lead of 3 runs or fewer in the 9th inning. For Jung Hoo Lee, it's every single game, and that's what the Giants have been lacking. So I love the fact that it is a commitment to an everyday player and someone who clearly, through his statements, wanted to be in San Francisco and was fired up about having the opportunity to play at Oracle Park. I know the translation from the press conference wasn't great. I've seen several Korean journalists talk about this and say that the translator who was translating Korean to English missed a moment where Jung Hoo Lee in his press conference talked about the possibility of hitting a splash hit at Oracle Park and how that excited him. And I think that if fans had had the opportunity to hear that, that would have been really special. And that's something that I think over the course of time, I hope that the Giants hire a great translator. I hope that they hire someone who Lee is very comfortable with, or if Lee has any say in that decision, I hope that he brings in someone he's very comfortable with. I think that over time, we're going to see moments like that where he endears himself to fans, where he talks about the organization, his unique experiences in Major League Baseball in his first season. It's going to get everyone really excited about a guy who is still just 25 years old and part of a future core as someone who can deeply connect with a fan base in San Francisco that is looking for players to connect with. So the last part of this press conference, and really this didn't even take place in the press conference, but the last part of this signing that I want to talk about, and this became clear during the press conference, is it's a risk. It's a risk to sign Jung Hoo Lee because he hasn't seen Major League pitching. It's a risk to potentially overpay for him and sign him to this long-term deal, knowing that he could really struggle with velocity in his first season or two in the majors. Those contact skills that he brings over from Korea, those may not translate right away. There may be more strikeouts in his game. The strike zone may look different, feel different to him in Major League Baseball than it did in Korea. And you know what? That's okay, because at this point in time, the Giants are an organization, a franchise that needs to take risks. They're an organization led by Farhan Zaidi who needs to take gambles and act as if the job of president of baseball operations isn't going to be his in 4 or 5 seasons. You need to spend money, have the opportunity to increase the ceiling, increase the possible win total that your franchise can reach in 2024 so that you have the talent on the field. And even if things go wrong, there's some margin for error, that's okay. But the Giants played the last 2 seasons without any margin for error, and we saw where that got them. We saw when they started to fall apart, it fell apart quickly. We saw when a pitcher got hurt, they didn't have someone who could come in and throw 5 or 6 innings behind them. We saw the Giants use far too many bullpen games, far too many platoons, and Jung Hoo Lee is an answer to one of those problems. Too many platoons to succeed. As far as my vantage point is concerned, I think the Giants made a great decision to go out and get an everyday center fielder and someone who has potential to hit 300, get on base, run the bases well, play great fundamental baseball, play solid defense at Oracle Park, and those are all missing elements. And oh yeah, bottom line, someone who will connect with fans through his style of play, someone who will be out there every single day, and you can buy a number 51 jersey, wear it to the ballpark, and know that that guy is going to be in the lineup. That's exciting. So while there's plenty of risk, and we'll see that in spring training, we'll see that at the outset of the 2024 season as Jung Hoo Lee adjusts to Major League Baseball, what we do know is this is someone who's driven, determined, and much like the Giants franchise, eager to win again. And this signing was a declaration of intent and should be the first of many big splashes the Giants make this offseason. Thanks for watching another episode of The Kerry Crowley Show. If you like this show, please hit that subscribe button. We were oh so close to 1,000 subscribers as I taped this video. It's really exciting to me, the possibility that this channel is growing. Really excited to me to talk Giants baseball with you on a more consistent basis. Let's keep it up. Thanks for watching.